going up, we're going forward, doing it every day, the Pierre way. We're going up, we're going forward, doing it every day, the Pierre way. We're going up, we're going forward, doing it every day, the Pierre way. We're going up, we're going forward, doing it every day, the Pierre way.
What's up, fam? It's Robe
and Meima,
and this is the Pierre Way Podcast. Coming at you with another episode.
Yeah,
we're excited today, y'all. We talking about gender roles.
Gender roles.
We talking about
Your
gender
role,
roles.
my role,
everybody's roles.
everybody's role.
All right, we got a video that we haven't seen. This is just a reaction video. We're gonna watch it, and he's gonna start us off.
All right, let's do it.
All right, y'all ready? There you go. Let's do it.
Everyone says marriage should be 50-50. It's the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard. It's never 50-50.
Yeah.
Ever. And so what we do is we quantify where we are. So if Steve comes home and he'll be like, I got 20.
Just in terms of energy.
Just energy, investment, kindness, patience. I'm at 20. And I'll be like, I'll cover you. I got you, brother. Like, I'll pull the 80. Sometimes we come home, which we have done a lot. My mom has been sick. And I'll say, I've got 10. And Steve goes, like 2 days ago said, I'm riding a solid 25. So we know that we have to sit down at the table anytime we have less than 100 combined and figure out a plan of kindness toward each other.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because the thing is, marriage is not something that's 50-50. A partnership works when you can carry their 20 or they can carry your 20. And that when you both just have 20, you have a plan where you don't hurt each other.
That's good.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's really good.
So I actually, do you remember this conversation?
No.
I brought this up to you before. So this was a blind video, but I've actually seen not this specific video, but I saw someone talking about this video. I can't believe I don't remember. I mean, I guess it was a while ago. I was telling you, I was like, I'd mentioned to you the idea and the thought of doing this 20, 50%.
And, like,
and he was like, no. He was like, no, that's just stupid. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, I guess. Like, doesn't bother me.
I think there is, we do it in our own way. I think we cover each other. Like the overall air and message of this video, I think we have in our own way.
Yeah.
Because I do think there are times where you have to put more in and there are times where I have to put more in.
Right.
And we kind of cover each other in that. That's the general idea.
The idea of this is like is great, right?
Yep.
Like you pick up for your partner where they can't, right? Yep. Which I think is a beautiful segue into gender roles, because I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but we're parents, we have 3 small children. Bedtime routine is huge, and we really grew into it. I feel like once we had 3, we really established something. So the way that we typically do it is on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Wednesday nights, you put the kids to bed.
Absolutely.
It's a non-negotiable.
Well, it's dinner and bed. It's like the whole after school routine rests on
you on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So kids come home from school, he makes sure dinner's on the table, he gets it all warmed up, or he cooks, or whatever you're doing. Then, when it's bedtime, you make sure that they brush their teeth, put on their PJs, sometimes read a story, pray, tuck them in, go to bed. And that's my responsibility the rest of the week. So Thursday through Sunday. And it took us some time to get there, because I feel like, we'll jump right into it. When it comes to gender roles, specifically with parenting, it feels like it's always the mom who's supposed to take care of the kids in that way. You bathe them, you feed them, you obviously make sure they get to school, their activities. And it's like, it's not that dad is not present or doesn't take care of them, but it's more of his contribution is maybe like buying things, taking them on vacations, the fun parent, if you will. Usually dads are. And for us, somewhere along the way, we just found out what worked for us.
Yeah.
And it was very evident for me. I was like, I cannot put these kids to bed every single night.
Right.
Like, this is a lot. It's too much. I'm tired. I was like, I'm tired. And so I think once we got to that space of how we do like this 50-50 of the week bedtime, it's made it so much easier for both of us.
Yeah.
Because on the nights when you put them to bed, I have my time.
Yeah.
I could, whether I want to do housework, whether I want to go to the gym, whether I just want to chill, it's my time. And then you have your time on the other nights of the week. And while we honor that schedule, we also know things come up, right?
We
so
cover each
sometimes
other.
we have to cover each other. Like sometimes things happen at work and it's like, okay, I got to cover you. Or sometimes you're traveling. It's like, all right, I got to cover you. Or if like I have something going on, you cover me. So I for us, when it comes to, we can go into so many different segments when it comes to gender roles, but I think when it comes to parenting, we usually do what works for us.
Yeah, and I think that bleeds into gender roles as well. For us, it's like we realize that the traditional views of what a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, with the traditional views of their roles and their responsibilities was not going to work for us.
Yeah.
Because of just our makeup. So I think to understand this is like, you know, you're the oldest out of 3.
Right.
You're very close with your dad.
Right.
And if you know my father-in-law, he is a handsy man. I mean, he is
Listen,
like,
that man in his toolbox.
he can come and fix anything and do all that. This woman right here, there are things she knows how to fix. I have no idea where she
Can
goes.
I tell people how I know how to change a tire? I could do an oil change if I needed to. Most of the time, like I'm trying to think of something that was recently broken in the house. Like I will get the toolbox and I'll fix it.
Yeah, like
I can build furniture.
You fix garbage disposals. You fix all these different things.
I get my car serviced. I take my stuff out.
So then for me, it's like, so I grew up with 3 sisters. And it's like I did not learn how to change a tire. I did not learn how to fix anything and all that stuff. And so we get together. And so I think one of the things that happens is that people feel pressured to take on the traditional role.
Yeah.
Listen, I can call somebody real quick and be like, yo, I need something to get fixed. If it's up to me to fix it, it's going to be my village or somebody that I hire to come in and fix it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me doing it. And for me to try to do it, for me to actually try to do it.
Sometimes you be trying and I be like, okay.
Listen, it's just no. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And also, it's like if you, for 18 years before you left your parents' house, have been taught by your father to do all of these things, but because you're a woman, that's not what women do. You can't do it here. It's like it didn't make sense to us. So earlier on, we found out, what works for us? Who are we in our core? Despite these traditional kind of things that people put on husbands and wives, but who are we? Who are we good at?
Yeah.
And who do we need to be in order to make one another happy?
Yeah, right.
And who do we need to be in order to properly support and cultivate this family that we have? And that's our approach towards like the roles. So it's like, I love coming home on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and cooking for my kids. Like, it's not going to be as amazing as you do it. But I love like sitting there and doing that stuff. I love cleaning. I love putting my house together.
I will never forget. Actually, this was a while ago, but it was a Saturday. You woke up, you were playing like typical black mom. He woke up and he was like, I'm going to clean all these bathrooms in this house. I was like, okay. And he was over there with his gigantic broom and he went to the store. He bought a bunch of stuff. He was scrubbing and everything.
Yeah, and the kids were with me.
And the kids were
they were cleaning and they were enjoying it and all that stuff.
Because when you were done with it, you were like, I'm never doing that ever
No,
again.
it took me a whole day to do it.
You were like, I'm tired.
It's like it's what works for us,
Yeah.
right? And then I think it's important that we don't box our marriages and our relationships into what society or tradition says that they should be.
Yeah.
But then who are you naturally? Who are you at your core? What do you bring to the table, to the home? What do you bring to the family? What do you bring to the marriage? And I think you honor that.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like for you, like you've never made me feel less of a man because I'm not handsy. I don't know how to fix anything or all. You've never made me feel less than. And it's one of the things I appreciate about our marriage because I'm able to show up as husband. I'm able to show up as father. I'm able to show up as a leader in our home without meeting the world's expectation of what they should be.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, for wives or girlfriends and all these different things when it comes to gender roles, it's like, there are special aspects of us as men that don't fit the box of society.
Yeah, that's so true. And so the reason why I never made you feel less of a man is because I honored your role as a leader in this house. And so like, I remember in the beginning when we first got married, because really when we got married was when we really magnified those areas of gender roles, right? Because even like in marriage counseling, preparing for marriage, like there was a lot of things that it was like, oh, like how do we do this? But I was really big on letting you lead, and I didn't want to disrespect you as a leader. So if I can't, let's say like, I don't know, the toaster was broken and I was like, babe, I need you to fix it. And you were like, yeah, I'll get it done. I get it done. And it never got done. I would even ask you like, hey, is it okay if I call somebody to come in and do it?
That is so true.
Because I would be like, I don't want you to feel disrespected in this house because I asked you to do something and I don't want you to think I don't think you can't do it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's okay. And once you were like, oh yeah, it's fine. And I was like, okay, well, I'm calling everybody to do everything.
It don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me. I'll call up my friends. I got friends that'll come up and help me put up a TV. I don't
You call my dad. You will call my dad.
We got some locks in the house that need to be fixed. I'm like, Dad, I need you to come over. It's like, ain't no shame in my game. And I think sometimes men get really ashamed about it because they feel like as a man, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. As a man, as a husband, as a father, I'm supposed to love you.
Right.
I'm supposed to lead you. I'm supposed to be submitted to God. But there is nowhere in God's Bible that says I'm supposed to learn how to put things together. There's nowhere in God's Bible that says I'm supposed to do X, Y, beyond that. I'm supposed to be submitted. I'm supposed to honor you. I'm supposed to love you. I'm supposed to be a provider, a protector, a priest. Like I'm supposed to be able to do that for you. And everything that television and society and culture says we're supposed to be, I think sometimes we run ourselves to the ground.
Well, I think it's hard because like, so we're talking about culture in general, but then we're forgetting, like for us, we're Haitian American. So there's that Haitian Caribbean culture added on top of culture. And so like, so for those who may not know, in Haitian culture, food is everything.
Yep.
And so your mom is A1. Okay, listen.
Mommy
Zia can hold it down in a kitchen. Okay. And I've known her as long as I've known you. Yep. And so I remember when we got engaged and we were getting ready to get married, everybody at the church would be like, you got to get your food game up. You need to learn how to cook because that man like want to eat. Okay.
Because my mom used to cook for the whole church.
Yes.
So my mom so everybody's like, people, what are you going to do?
No, even my mom would be like, all right, let me teach you something real quick in the kitchen. I'd be like, yeah, because I really don't know what I'm going to do. And so I just remember us getting married and I was so intimidated when it came to the kitchen because I was just like, I'm like, I suck. Like I think I can hold it down, but I don't know because like the way your mom cook, I can't cook like her. And I was battling like this idea of like, should I like try to cook like her? Should I not? And so that was a hard gender role for me to like uphold as like the wife cooks all the time and all this stuff. And I just remember like there came a point you were just very intentional about like, babe, it's not that serious. Like it is, first of all, it's not a competition. Like I'm not expecting you to match my mom, to know how to cook like her. But also you were just like, we don't have to eat like that.
Well, thank God we don't eat like that.
And we don't
because I could not eat like that and be as healthy as
right.
But I mean, I think it's just, you are not my mother. It's just like, and that's the deal. And it's like, yes, my mother was a traditional Haitian housewife and she quit her job to take care of us. We would come home from school. There'll be all types of food every single day. Sunday dinners was crazy. Like she's that, but it's like, I can't put that expectation on you. And it's like, I hear guys all the time be like, I can't marry a woman who can't cook. I can't do that. But I'm like, man, cooking is the smallest of percentages in what I needed in a wife. It's like, and what I think every man needs in a wife. Yeah, cooking may be important, feeding family may be important, but at the end of the day, like, you can help out too. Right.
Like, and you did that. You would cook.
We can do that. We can figure it out. We can read recipes together.
Yeah.
It's just like we be on the phone with my mom when we trying to cook stuff. We'll be like, Mom, what do we do here? What we do that? It's like it's that. And I think one of the questions that we had as we were prepping for this, and I don't want to butcher this question, and it's really about submission. And one of the questions I really want to ask you, I want to make sure we have it like really, really right, because I think submission is such a bad word right now when it comes to wives, in marriage, and also in gender roles. And so the modern woman sees it as a form of control. And so one of the things that I want to ask you is like, how do you deal with submission and your views on submission in our marriage?
Yeah. I mean, I get asked this question all the time, and I like kind of get nervous about answering because
Really?
I just feel like people be overcomplicating submission. Like I'd be like, I don't think it's not serious. So I don't know if I'm saying this the right way. Like
Yeah.
I'd be like, am I doing this right? Like I don't know. But the simplest way to describe submission, like, right, the actual word itself, right, submitted under you. At the end of the day, and so that this is like sidebar, I want to be submitted under you. I want you to lead me. Like it's not, for me, it's not just that's what we should do. It's what I actually want to do happen. I want you to lead us.
Why?
Because I trust you.
Okay.
I trust your vision for us. And it's not that it's submission is not you're sitting here and you're saying, babe, this is everything we're doing. And I'm saying, okay. Submission is you share with me your vision and your plans for our family. We discuss it. We pray about it.
Right.
Right. And as we pray about it, I pray that the same way that the Lord gave you that vision, that God can reveal it to me.
Right.
And show me.
We're literally actively in that space right now.
Right? Yeah. And so when people talk about like, oh, I don't want to be submitted under him because, you know, like I don't want no man to lead me, or I don't want this or whatever. And for me, it's kind of like, well, we're in this marriage, we're in this unit together, right? We're doing it together, and we're allowing space for us to be able to grow in it and to lead with one another.
Yeah.
Right. So submission for us doesn't look like you call all the shots and I say, okay, I'm coming.
Right.
Like it's not, babe, tomorrow we're moving to California.
Right,
and that's it. And I'm like, cool. The opposite of that is you're not saying that to me. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What that conversation like that looks like, if you come to me and say, babe, I just feel like we have to move to California and here's all these reasons why, and I just feel this way and that way or the third, and you literally will say that this is true, I will respond with you with like, okay, I'm gonna pray about it.
Yeah.
And I got your back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so submission is like teamwork.
Yeah.
For us. It's not a siloed thing. It's not a you're above me and I'm below you. It's we're doing this thing together. And I feel like when women think about submission, they don't think about being the praying woman that they need to be, that comes with submission. Because to submit means that you have to trust everything that he sees for his family. That trust isn't something that is built overnight, right? That trust is over time. That trust is not just about how you perform, but that trust is built off of how we do life together.
Yeah.
And so if I trust you enough when you say we're moving across the world, it's because we've built such a close and tight-knit bond that I not only trust that what you're saying isn't crazy, but that I also trust in the God in you.
Right.
And so because I trust in you, I trust in the God in you, I'm going to say, okay, if I'm fearful and I'm weary about this choice and decision that you want to make for us, I'm going to go to God and be like, God, like, help my heart to match his heart.
Right.
Right? Help me to understand this vision.
That's
and
so
whatever
good.
I hear from God, I bring it up to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes it isn't what you want to hear. Sometimes
Right.
it's going to be like, babe, that's not what I heard. Like I heard this and that. Like, what do we do? And sometimes it is like, I got it. Like, I'm with it.
I think that's so key, because I think submission is easy when you understand that you're not following the man, you're following the God that's within the man.
Right.
And I think a lot of the decisions that you have to make as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, is based upon the trust that you have in the God that you see in me.
Right.
And then I think it's like, I get it. I think the word submission is mostly targeted towards women, but I think in a marriage we submit to one another. There's something that we say all the time in our church, agreement is the place of power. And so I don't just need her to agree because I say so. I need her to agree in her heart. I need her to believe. I need the faith to match, because that's when we have power. That's when we have success. And I think agreement is not my way or the highway, or my way or no way. I think it's like, submission is not my way or the highway. I think submission is like, first we're submitting under God. And I'm submitting under God, and it's my responsibility to hear from the Lord on behalf of my family. And so the direction that we decide to go, that we go in, it's not just about me.
Right.
It's not about my dreams.
Right.
It's not about what I want to do.
Right.
But it's about you. It's about what God is doing in you. It's about where God wants to take you. It's about what God is doing in our children, in our community, and the decisions that we make involves all those things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard for a wife or a woman to submit. And the reason why it's hard is because those decisions benefit one person.
That's so good.
The decisions only benefit, the husband.
Yeah.
The decisions only
so
benefit
good.
that. And so I think when you begin to look at everyone as a unit and you begin to make decisions that benefit the children, like it's like when we were looking to move, I couldn't just look at myself.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what does this do for you? How's the school districts? How's all of that? We're looking at everything to actually make a decision. And I think when you do that, submission becomes easier.
Yeah.
Submission becomes easier. And then I think as a husband, it's important for me to display the relationship that I have with God.
Yeah. And I think that's the part that is also key and important too. You're submitted.
Right.
You're submitted under God. You're submitted under our pastors.
Yes.
Right. So
that is so good.
You're not just some random dude and you're just coming up with these theories and
that.
ideas.
Yeah.
And
That
I'm
is so good.
Who are you following? Who is leading you?
That is so
you're
good.
being led. So because, and that's part of the trust as well too. So I guess to answer that question, the reason why I trust you is because you have people who you're submitted under. I see the God in you. You're submitted under the God that I serve. You're submitted under our pastors. And because of those people who you're submitted under, by default, it's like, yeah.
You got checks and balances.
Right. I was like, I'm submitted under you.
That's another way to look at the gender role and the piece of submission is that you are more confident in the decisions that I make because it's not only me making it.
Absolutely. I mean, I already know this. If you were to come to me and say, we're moving across the country, I already know there's at least, and I could name all 4 to 5 people who you already spoke to before you came to me about it.
Yeah.
Because that's just your accountability, your awareness of am I making the right choice? Is so key and important to you. So when it comes to me, I already know it's been vetted by so many different people. So at that point in time, I'm like, bet I don't have to worry about everybody else. I have to worry about me,
good.
about us, about
that
our
is
kids.
So good.
And so yeah, if there's somebody out there, it's you're having issues with submission, is really take a close look at your spouse and just who are they submitted under? Do they have people who are around them, giving them wise counsel? How's their relationship with Christ? Are they truly submitted under God? And from there, if all those things check out, it should be easy for you to submit.
Well, the thing is, this is so good. I can't expect you to do something that I'm not doing. So as a husband, I can't expect you to just do what I say. And then I don't have anybody that I answer to in heaven and on earth. It's like as a husband, I'm a leader, and the best leaders model.
Yeah.
They model what they want to see. And so there are times where you see me do something I don't want to do, but because my pastors are like, you know what, this is the next thing for you. This is what you got to do. And I model that. So when I present something and you be like, man, I don't want to do this, I'm not asking you to do something that I haven't modeled for you to do. So for husbands, it's you have to model submission. That is you got to model submission and don't just expect it. You got to model it. So who are you submitted under? Who can call you out? If I start acting up, this girl got a list of people that she can text, call, and within 2 to 3 hours, they all will be blowing
phone calls
me
on
up
some Robertson, what are you
and
doing?
all that stuff because
Why are you doing
I, as a man, I'm not just submitted to God, but I'm submitted to fathers. I'm submitted to mothers. I'm submitted to leaders that hold me accountable. And that aspect makes submission easy for you.
And I also do have to say too, I love my parents. My mom displayed submission throughout her whole marriage. So because I also saw it without knowing what it was, I also feel it made it easy for me to do. It was very seamless.
But your mom is just so dope in that way. And I'm so close with your mom. Just when I love her so much. She's just so dope in the fact that your mom, when it comes to how she leads and when it comes to how she mothers and how the wife that she is, she holds it down.
Yeah.
Right. She holds it down.
Right.
Like she's been working.
Right.
And it's like, and it doesn't matter the amount of money she makes, how much more money she makes. And I see the way she acts with your dad.
Yeah.
There's no air of that. She holds him down. There's a partnership. She has everything that an independent woman has, but you never see it in a way that makes your father feel like less than. Like this woman is working. She got a good job. She's out of hospital doing her thing. She's like she got businesses, side hustles, all of that stuff. She's caking it. She's bringing it. But it's like she holds it down. But then she'll come in and she's like, "Babe, what we doing?"
Yeah, no, she does.
It's just like, you know what I'm saying? And
your
your father's amazing. Like he's a hardworking man and all these different things. But it's just like the way that she holds it down is just so great.
And so it was so easy for me when we got, like, that wasn't even a problem. I don't think submission was an issue in our marriage ever. Like it was so, for me, it was like, yeah, he's leading. Like,
but it's like, the thing is like, you don't need to lose your sense of independence.
And I think that's what people assume.
When you submit, you don't need to lose your, like, how dope you are as a woman or as a man, how much of a businesswoman you are, how successful you are, how much money you can make, the jobs you can have. That doesn't need to be sacrificed because you submit.
Right.
As a matter of fact, like for me in our marriage, man, I push you all the time, like, yo, start this, do this, etc. Like submission doesn't have to look like you gotta almost shrink.
Right.
You gotta shrink who you are in order to come under this man. No, like it's like submission is, he sees that and he's like, yo, go forth and do that. And that's what I tell my wife all the time, if God does whatever and I gotta lay everything down and follow you, whatever we gotta go, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that, like, because at the end of the day, we're all submitted to God's plan.
Exactly.
To God's plan.
Exactly.
And I think when I hear a lot of women talk about submission and they bad about it, it's because they have to sacrifice so much. They're sacrificing their voice. Yeah. They're sacrificing their intelligence.
Right.
You know, their abilities, their success in order to come under a man that is not matching their level of success at all. And I think that's like, no. It's like no one has to sacrifice any of that. As a man, I need to come with you in mind. Right. Yeah. And if we sacrificing something, we're sacrificing something together. And there's no way that you need to shrink in order to come under me. No, it's like we're doing this together and we're gonna grow together.
Listen, that's why gender roles are a really tough and complex topic, because there's just so many things out there in the world that people put on women and people put on men. And when we try to come together and make a unit, like women are coming into relationships like with all these expectations of what a guy should be, and guys are coming with expectations to how they think women should be. And even in the dating world, it's just so hard for people to date because it's like all these expectations of what a man should do and what a woman should do. It just makes it so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you think that we should be talking about in the dating stage when it comes to gender roles, like when it comes to the expectations?
Finances, I absolutely think is something when it comes to gender roles. And that's even like a little sticky to like mention, because I think that and even the way I grew up, I always understood that if you are going to be in a relationship with somebody, that he needs to be the breadwinner. Right. That he's taking care of you financially. Right. And not that you're not working, but it's like if I'm making $60K, he's making $90K.
That's
like,
terrible.
And I don't know where that came from,
like,
and why.
I mean, I get it. It's a traditional view. Like the man takes care of the house and the woman has the kids. And I mean, the man takes care of the home financially and the woman has the kids and take care of the house.
But it's just it's
terrible.
Because we've gone through seasons where that's been up, down, and all around.
Like, I'll give you guys a quick synopsis when we got married. I was in grad school. We got engaged right.
You graduated undergrad.
I graduated undergrad.
I was in my senior year of undergrad.
You was in senior year of undergrad in college. We got married. I was still in grad school. I had a part-time job. I was making less than $25,000 a year. You had a full-time job working for the city.
Yeah.
For the first year of our marriage, she was paying everything.
Yeah.
I was in school. I was in school doing that and all that. And then it flipped. When I was done in school, she went into grad school. Yep. And at the end of, but the opportunity that she had is that she got to work at the grad school.
Yeah.
And she was a full-time student. So she was still making more money. she was still making more money than I was in all that. And then in due time, there came time where I'm making more money. Right. She's like, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's a unit.
Right.
It's a unit. And coming into a relationship before looking at marriage and thinking that, yo, if you don't make more money than me, it's not going to work. That is just the worst.
Yeah, because even in the dating phase, it can be like that, where it's like you are financially more successful than a man, and there can be a rift. Who's paying for the dates? How are you taking me out?
Right. You gotta look at, well,
I know.
Fellas,
we treading territory. It's a little sensitive.
Territory. We don't need to be, pay for the dates, fellas. Do that.
Save up your
pay
coins.
for the date or be creative. Take care of the experience. It doesn't include money.
1,000%.
But I do think one of the things that's like so key and important for all of us to grab a hold of is that this is more of a partnership.
Yes.
Than it is sole responsibility on one person.
Right.
And we, in a dating phase, we absolutely cannot predict what the future holds.
Yeah.
And what needs to be evaluated in the dating phase is work ethic, is vision, passion. Right. Like, do you have a hustle in you?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
What's your future looking like? You got to have a vision, and for yourself, not like, ladies, don't just rest on the guy having vision for you and your family. Like, what do you want to do? That's one of the things we got in premarital counseling when we had to write all of our dreams down. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, this is what you see for yourself.
Right.
Like, because if I don't know that, I can't lead you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's important in that conversation. And then, like, does he have a hustle that can get him paid?
Right, because he might be a little broke right now, but if he's a hard worker.
If he's a hard worker and he's searching, that's good.
Like,
same thing. Does she have a hustle that could get her paid? Because at the end of the day, it's like one paycheck for the lifestyle y'all want to live may not do it.
Right.
And so it's not just about what the man's making. It's like, what are you pulling?
Yeah.
As a woman, and we come together and complement each other and stuff. So in that dating phase, you look at that. You're looking at hustle. You're looking at passion. You're looking at vision. You're looking at, like, if that person is able to maintain a job. I think that's one of the things. Like, can you actually maintain? Can you keep a good track record?
Yeah.
Do we actually have references for you? Like, can we call somewhere and they be like, no, this person was a good worker?
Yeah.
Can you last in a job for more than 2 months, 3 months, etc.?
Right.
I think you want to see that. Once you are able to see that and that looks good, it's only a matter of time. It's a matter of education. It's a matter of ideas. It's a matter of business follow through. It's a matter of partnerships for money to kind of like, to come in. But I think expecting for people to be like, oh, I can't marry you, can't cook. If she can't cook, I can't marry her. I think that's the worst, because there are some amazing women out there who can't cook to save their life, but they will love the mess out of you. Yeah. They'll hold you down, and they'll love the mess out of their children.
Yeah.
And they would make your life better, but they can't cook, so they don't get to be in the running. Like, I think that's just silly.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely, you learn to cook. Like,
no, I had to learn all that, honestly.
I think it's absolutely silly for that. And I think for, like, oh, if he ain't making six figures, he can't be with me. He can't do this. This is where I'm at in my life. But then he would support you. Yeah. And he will love you, and he's not trying to compete with you. Yeah. But I think
now I have a question to throw at you, because this, I think, especially for like probably millennials and Gen Zers, I think I see a lot of millennials specifically actually going through this. Do those ideologies change as you get older? So, I know a lot of single women in like their mid-30s, right? And so they probably are living a particular type of lifestyle where they want to be with a man who makes a particular amount of money, I think. And so do those same ideas around gender roles, do they shift because, like, you're older now, or like, what is your perspective on that?
That's a really good question. I think it's all circumstantial. Yeah. Right? I think when you are a woman and you've reached a certain caliber, it can be very hard. Right? I think it could be very hard when you are a single woman making six figures. You're very well off. Right. And sometimes it could be very intimidating. Right. I don't, this is my personal opinion. It's not Bible. I do not think salary should write someone off.
I would agree with that.
At whatever age that they're at. I would agree with that. I do think that history can write someone off. Okay? So it's like, you mean to tell me you are this old and you can't keep a job,
Right.
You're trying to be a rapper.
Right.
You're trying to like. It's like
Not a rapper.
it's
You got
like
something against
a
the
lot.
rappers, y'all. That's
It's like
crazy.
I don't have nothing against rappers. I love rappers, but it's like at the end of the day, there has to be some level of advancement that the woman can see in your history. Like if you are in your 30 somethings and 40 somethings and you're single, they need to be able to trace progress from your 20s to then.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we got to give our sisters like, you know, I got to give kudos to them. Sometimes if they don't see the progress, they can't get in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. If you are in your 30s, you should be able to show a woman 10 years worth of progress. Now, what does that look like? I finished college. Okay, good.
Right.
Even if you didn't finish college, you know, I've been working at this job. I went up. I've been promoted.
Right.
I've been done this.
Right.
I started this business.
Right.
I've done this. I've done that. Like there should be some level of progress. Ladies, if he shows you consistency, if he's showing you progress, if he's showing you that in his history, he's able to be faithful, he's able to put his mind to something and accomplish something, I think you should give him a shot.
Yeah.
Right? If based on the whole gender roles
Yeah,
conversation.
of course, right.
Based on the whole gender roles conversation. And but I don't think you should be like, wait, you're making 40K? No way, you don't even get there because
Yeah.
you never know. It may be something God has unlocked in you that can unlock something in him, and together you guys can be millionaires. You never know it. So shutting people down based on status, based on salary, I think I'm not down.
Yeah,
I'm not down
and
for
I
it.
think that's so interesting because if anything, that's the whole essence of gender roles, right? Like, let's say for example, you're a woman, you're like, 38 years old and you're making well off like 6 figures, and you meet somebody who's also in their 30s not making 6 figures, right? But like you guys decide, okay, we want to make this work and everything's all good. It's like that already is demystifying gender roles, right? So like kudos to you, because there are some women, they're like, hey, I work hard so I can buy my own things, don't need to buy me nothing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, the thing about it is, no, from my experience, and you've been my first love, but from my experience, even though you could do it, women still feel like so good when their man comes home and says,
Yes.
I got you something.
Yes.
No matter how much money they make. Like
No,
right now you
absolutely.
could go and buy whatever you want, etc. But then it's like your face lights up when I bring home a Chloe bag. It's like, oh my gosh,
No, listen, that
like
Chloe
you did
bag,
it, but you
that
could have
was
done it
Shabbat,
like,
okay.
that's different. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like, in the gender role conversation,
Yes.
as a man, if you have a caliber of a woman, like you want to be able to provide certain things.
Yeah.
But then it's like, ladies, it's like you want to give space for
Right.
the growth for
Right.
that to also
Right.
to
And
also
weirdly
happen.
enough, while like not everything we do follows gender roles, sometimes it does. And
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy it when you fix stuff around the house.
Right.
You enjoy it when I be cooking every day.
Right,
of the
right,
week.
right.
Like, so it's like at the end of the day, we're not married to that.
We're not bound by them.
Yes.
That's the thing. And I mean, as we come to a close and we're looking at the Pierre way, like what is the Pierre way of doing gender roles is that we do it together.
Yeah.
We're not bound
Yep.
by
Yep.
society
Yep.
and culture and the ways that we should behave and do things in
Right.
our marriage. We are bound to the word, like
absolutely.
to what God is saying. So we're not going to just do anything all up in our house.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when it comes to gender roles, we do it together. And we cover each other and we play to each other's strengths, and we come and meet each other where we're weak, so we can create the home, the marriage, and the life that we both desire to create. And that's the Pierre way, y'all.
That is the Pierre way.
That is, don't be bound by society. Don't be bound by culture when it comes to
Yeah.
gender roles. Y'all go out there and you be you the best way you can, and you keep growing to be better for one another. And before you know it, you're going to be where you need to be.
You're gonna be where you need to be.
Love y'all.
Woohoo!
This was another episode of the Pierre Way podcast.
Yep.
Make sure you what, babe?
Make sure you like, share some comments, subscribe.
Yeah.
Right. Check us out on socials. Right. We want to interact with you. We want to know if you have any questions around gender roles as well. We can answer well after today.
Let us know your thoughts on this gender role stuff and what your experiences have been. We want to continue this conversation. So like, share, subscribe, talk about it in your relationships, in your marriage. Let us know. Let's keep this going and let's continue to grow together because it's onwards and
Upward.
love y'all, family. See you next week for
next
another
time.
episode. Peace.
We're going up. We're going going forward, doing it every day, the Pierre way.